Hello, this is Faith at Faith and Books. I thought I would do a quick tag. I know this is going to go up on a Wednesday probably. Maybe I'll put it up this evening. Um, but I got tagged by Alan Braswell. Um, and so I've been watching everyone answer Matthew at Mayberry Book Club's, what's it called? Recluse Tag. So people say recluse. I say recluse. Anyway, so I think I'll do that tag because I know I'm going to be busy through the end of the week and I probably won't put anything else up. So this is the recluse or recluse tag. So let's see, and thank you, Alan, for tagging me. So the first, I will link to Alan's and to Mayberry Book Club's original tag. Oh, and by the way, I created a tag that I put up this morning and I named it something awkward like, what did I name it? I had trouble with the name. It was, my top favorite religiously themed works of fiction. So I hope I didn't name anybody specifically. I have trouble tagging people because it feels socially awkward to me. I don't want to exclude people. And at the same time, I'm afraid, if I tag somebody, they don't watch me that much, so they'll miss it. It's like giving a party and nobody shows up. So anyway, I always feel really awkward. So I always just say, if you want to be tagged, go ahead and do it. Anyway, so thank you, Alan, and let me proceed. Okay, so the recluse tag. The first question: what do you look for in the ultimate bookstore in under an hour? So when I go to a bookstore, the first section I go to is the religion / theology / Christianity section. And I could hang out there for an hour. But since I have under an hour, I'd probably look through there to see if there were any interesting books or authors that I wasn't familiar with. And then I might go to the history section and look through there. And again, I could spend a whole hour probably there. And then if I was interested in a particular author, like in literature or fiction, or if I was interested in a particular topic, I might go and try to find books there. So right now I'm into gardening and health and permaculture and environment. So I might go look for books in those sections, wherever that might be. So that's what I would do, and that would be that would be really hard because any one of those topics I could spend a full hour in a bookstore looking through books. So that's a tough one. Second question: who is your favorite reclusive character or novel with a reclusive, antisocial loner character? A novel with an isolated or claustrophobic setting. So the first person I thought of was Boo Radley of To Kill a Mockingbird. And I just saw Alan's at Big Hard Books and Classics, and he was trying to remember Boo Radley's name. It's Boo Radley. But yeah, that's the first person I thought of. And then I thought of Frankenstein, since he's forced into isolation and he's so lonely. He's not really antisocial. He wants to be social, but then he gets angry, and it becomes very vengeful. But he's definitely forced to be a loner. And then I also thought of Silas Marner, who is so betrayed. Like he's not a recluse, but he does become a miser, and he sort of doesn't like interacting with humanity. And it's when he finds the little girl Eppie that sort of gives him a tie back into society. So I'd say Silas Marner. For the isolated or claustrophobic setting, I was thinking The Long Winter in the Little House books, where they're out on the prairie in that railroad town, and they have such enormous snow, amounts of snow, as huge snowfalls that they're really isolated, and they almost starve to death. Kate Howe brought up that book, and that's my favorite book out of that whole series. Anyway, she brought it up recently. And I thought of that because you can really feel the isolation and the cabin fever and how desperate how desperate the situation becomes. Oh, and there's one other that would fit this category, and not the claustrophobic setting so much, but the reclusive antisocial loner, and that's in a book I'm reading right now. The Secret Garden. The little boy, Colin Craven, who everyone thinks is ill and is going to die, is kept in isolation because he doesn't want anyone to talk about him or look at him. And he's, this miserable kid that the little girl, her name is suddenly escaping me, Mary Lennox, kind of redeems him, saves him from his isolation and loneliness. So there's a character in the book I'm currently reading that fits that second question. The third is, with a week off, no obligations, what books would you like to read? So first of all, I could not spend a whole week just reading books. I would go crazy. I would be too restless. So if I was planning a week off where I didn't have any obligations, I would probably plan 2 reads, one a heavier, more academic or classic read, and one a lighter read. And then I would also probably do things like plan to complete some little project, or I would plan to go on a walk somewhere at a park I hadn't been to for a while, or to some local historical site or something. I know that I would have to do other things than read, or maybe even start watching a teaching company or great courses lecture series, or maybe rewatch some movies or something like that. I would plan out different things, because otherwise, I don't know, I just get too restless and I actually start to feel lonely. I have to have a switch up. If I have that free time, I have to have a balance, or else it's I don't know, I don't enjoy it as much. Anyway, so I would have a heavier book, maybe a historical book, or a classic that I wanted to tackle, and then some sort of lighter book, that maybe a comedy or a light mystery, or just something lighter. And that's what I would pick to read. And then, what books would you actually be reading? So if I didn't get very far into the heavier, more classic book, maybe it turned out to be something that I really wasn't into, or there was something daunting about it, I might, turn to reading more lighter stuff. And knowing myself, I wouldn't get as far as I would plan to get into in a classic, because they always take me longer than I think they will. And I might even, turn to even stuff like some sort of, cheap bio of a celebrity or something like that. I've been known to resort to that sort of thing, just to have something to I don't know, to be idle about, or, when you're really kind of bored. So that's that I might turn to something like that, because I remember the last time I was at the beach, and I think everybody went off on some excursion, and I was at home, and I picked up a biography. I guess it was an autobiography or memoir by Gilda Radner, which I enjoyed, but it was, it wasn't anything to write home about. Anyway, I think that's what I would probably do. So that's it for this tag. I tag anybody who hasn't done this yet. It's sort of made the rounds, so probably you have already done it. And stay well, and I'll see you maybe during the weekend. Bye.